Welcome to Getting Started with Amplify Reading 6-8 edition. In today's session, you'll hear a brief overview of Amplify Reading, learn how to log in and get started, learn how to help your students get started, and learn how to review information about your students in your teacher reporting app. Before we end, we'll also review some tips for how to best use this program to support your remote learning plans. Amplify Reading 6-8 edition is a personalized literacy program based on the latest in learning science research and game design. First, let's watch this brief overview to get a sense of what the program is all about.
The Last Readers, Book 1, Elimination. Before the machines took over, we could think for ourselves. Now, humanity is trapped, here in the dome, studied like lab rats, docile, ignorant. And our rests with you. We call ourselves the Last Readers.
As you can see from the video, Amplify Reading 6-8 edition takes students into the interactive graphic novel world of The Last Readers. It contains 22 units or chapters that are aligned to the Common Core English Language Arts standards and includes scaffolded, differentiated instruction based on your students' learning needs. Each chapter takes approximately 45 minutes to complete. Because this is a self-paced program with a variety of adaptive support, individual students may spend more or less time to complete a given chapter. Each chapter begins with an intro comic, which establishes a narrative drive for that chapter's mission. After that, the chapter proceeds through 3 phases of instruction: interactive instruction, guided close reading, and creative application. Each of these 3 phases is broken down into multiple blocks of instruction. At the end of each chapter, the work that students complete in the creative application phase is often incorporated directly into the story via the outro comic. Here, you can see the different close reading topics taught in Amplify Reading 6-8. The chapters in The Last Readers alternate between informational text topics and literary text topics. The topics build on each other as students progress. Book 1 focuses on the basics of argumentation and the importance of authors' language and word choices. Book 2 is all about storytelling. While the literary text chapters cover elements of stories, the informational text chapters explore storytelling techniques within arguments. Book 3 delves into advanced topics in argumentation and literature. Review is built in throughout the program. Each book ends with a review chapter that looks back at everything students have learned so far. Each chapter also incorporates review of previous chapters, so students are always connecting new concepts to concepts they've learned before. As you can see here, Amplify Reading's 22 chapters are aligned to the Common Core Anchor standards for English Language Arts. Instruction in close reading enables students to become attuned to the essential elements of authentic texts. From key ideas and claims to specific details and evidence, from effects of single words to those of larger textual structures, from the significance of individual texts to the interrelated meanings of multiple works, these are precisely the skill areas addressed by these standards. Let's speak briefly about getting started as a teacher. To log in to Amplify Reading, you'll navigate to learning.amplify.com. Once your school or district is enrolled, you'll use one of the login options here to access your account. If you're already using Amplify programs, you'll log in the same way you always do. If this is your first time using Amplify programs, you will receive instructions on how to log in from your district or school leader. Once you've logged in, you'll click the Launch Programs icon in the top right corner of your screen. You'll click Reading 6-8. Land on this screen. From here, you can view reporting, the teacher guide, or begin the student experience. First, let's look at reporting. If you click the reporting button, you can access the teacher reporting dashboard. Once students get started, your dashboard will provide on-demand information for the students in your class. The first thing you should do is the quick tour, accessible by clicking the icon shown here, the question mark. In this view, you'll be able to see the percentage of questions your students are accurately answering for each chapter, and you can compare these to your class average and the national averages available. You'll notice that students have a small circle with the letter CO next to their names. This stands for core and indicates that the student is currently placed in the core differentiation level. Before students begin using Amplify Reading, we recommend that you differentiate for your students. To switch students to the extra support level, click the circle and then click Confirm. The extra support level is intended for students who are reading below a middle school level and those who are English language learners. You can move students between the core and extra support levels at any time. If you change a student's level, that student will begin the next chapter of Amplify Reading in their new level. The two different levels of Amplify Reading teach the same close reading topics in the same immersive dystopian story of the last readers. In fact, they look so similar that students are unable to tell which level they're working in. However, the extra support level includes extra support and scaffolds to help struggling readers access the topics and master close reading skills. These supports include additional hints, more reveal words or words with contextualized definitions, explanations of idioms, simplified instructional language, and occasionally leveled text so that students can access close reading concepts. This extra support level is intended for students who are reading below a middle school level or those who are English language learners. We recommend placing students in the level you think is best for their current skills, but you can feel free to move students between the core and extra support levels at any time. Once your students have started completing chapters of Amplify Reading, you can click in to each individual student to see their student reporting view. This gives a summary of how well the student is performing in informational and literary topics, as well as information about how they performed and time spent in each chapter. From here, you can click Review to drill down into a specific chapter. Drilling down further, you can see all of the questions students answered chapter by chapter and what text they were responding to when they first answered those questions. Here, teachers can also grade students' responses to writing prompts, which will impact their overall score. This is optional, as students will receive a score without these items being graded. But it is a great way to get a nuanced understanding of how your student is understanding a given topic and how much effort they're putting in to learning the material. We also offer a teacher guide. Let's take a look. Here, you can learn about the student experience, reporting, and the narrative experience, and get a detailed outline of the pedagogical content covered in each chapter. I encourage you to take a look. Let's talk briefly about student setup. Students will log in to Amplify Reading the same way that teachers do, by navigating to learning.amplify.com. Students who already use Amplify products will log in the same way they currently do. But if this is their first time, you should have received instructions on how your students will log in. When they log in, they should click on the Reading 6.8 icon, which will take them to the program. They'll click Begin to get started. After watching an intro comic which sets the stage for the engaging graphic novel world of Amplify Reading 6.8, students will customize an avatar. As you see here, this character currently has a variety of customizations. These are unlocked as students complete chapters of Amplify Reading and earn points called followers. From there, students will be able to access the map. Here, students move sequentially through 22 chapters and 3 books of The Last Readers. As a reminder, each chapter follows a similar format. At the beginning of each chapter, students meet their instructor, who is a member of The Last Readers. The instructor is an expert in the literary or informational topic of discussion. A variety of activity types allow students to interact with content in ways that lead to deep learning. Students gain followers in the rebellion for answering questions correctly. And the program supports students as they work through complex grade level texts through optional hints they can click for help, word banks, starter texts, specific immediate feedback, and more. At the end of each chapter, after students have gone through rigorous training and applied their new knowledge and skills to analyzing complex texts, they go into maker mode for creative application. Now that they're pros at deconstructing messages, they're ready to make their own, and they can use their messages to impact the world of the dome. Before you begin, let's discuss a few tips for remote learning with Amplify Reading. Amplify Reading is a strong remote learning tool. It's very easy for students to use independently and is highly engaging. Here are some tips to help you be successful with Amplify Reading in this new remote learning world. First, Amplify Reading is designed for use 15 to 20 minutes a day, 2 to 3 times a week. Students really need 15 minutes to be able to get immersed in and focus on these complex topics. However, after 20 to 30 minutes in a session, students may begin to lose focus. Next, we highly recommend that students keep the sound on and use headphones for the experience. The text is read aloud and there are sound effects and music. Students can adjust these settings on the top left corner of their screen to turn off read aloud or turn off music, but many students find these supports helpful. To gauge whether your students are focusing on the program while at home, it may be helpful to read their responses to open response questions. With your unique understanding of each of your students, you will be able to assess if they are contributing the appropriate effort in their responses. Finally, we suggest that if you notice a student scored particularly low on a chapter, that you assign the student to repeat the chapter. A student can click restart in their experience to try a chapter again. Please review the technology requirements for both students and teachers. We recommend Safari and Chrome browsers and do not support iPads or iPhones at this time. You can call Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, or email us at help@amplify.com. Teachers can chat from within their own account by clicking the orange chat icon. We hope to hear from you.